Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in this video I'd like to show you how you can tie an eyed hook as a spaded hook. So these days most hooks that you buy tend to have an eye. They tend to be an eyed hook, and that's just fine. That's kind of become the standard. But spaded hooks, in my opinion, offer a much better presentation of the bait, and they are a hook that doesn't have an eye at the end of the shaft. It has a spade, so a flat part of the metal, and the knot wraps around the shank and then goes up against the flat part at the top, and it keeps it nice and secure. But the way that it sits, the hook, and the way it presents the bait, I think, in my opinion, is much better. The downside with a spaded hook, they tend to be very difficult to tie, especially if they're a small hook. So for this video I'm going to show you how to do it with a larger hook, but match fishermen tend to use a little machine and they kind of clamp it, and fly fishermen too, to wrap a fly around. But so the purpose of this video is, if you've only got eyed hooks and you don't have any spaded hooks, you can still tie the hook in a spaded fashion and it will still work. So this one I have here, I have tied it not through the eye. You can see there's nothing in the eye. I've tied it underneath the eye, and you can just see how nicely it sits to present the bait. So I'm going to show you that right now. We take the line, make a loop like so. So we've got our loop here. Then we just give it a bend at the end to flatten it a bit. Lie the loop against the shaft like this. Then with your finger and thumb, just pinch it down at the bottom here so it's not going anywhere. Now you're holding the main line here, and you take your finger and thumb with the tag end and start wrapping the tag end around the shaft. This is very tricky to do if you haven't done it before, but practice makes perfect. So I'm just going to do 5 wraps to show you here. That should do. Now once you've got your wraps, transfer over to the other hand, pinch down with the other hand. Then you can take the tag end and slip it through the loop at the bottom. Like so. And then you can start to pull all this tight and pull. You can see I'm pulling with this side. I'm pulling the main line through, and that tag end will start to shrink down a loop. Now you can see if I pull, it will go tight up against the top of the eye. So if this was a spaded hook, that would be like a flattened part of metal. In this case it's the eye, but the presentation is the same. I'm just going to cut the tag end off, and I'll give you a closer look now. That is presented nice and flat. You can see the line is just below the eye itself on the shank, and it gives a really strong connection, and in my opinion, it offers better presentation. A little bit more tricky to do, especially if it's a cold day, but if you can do this yourself at home, it's well worth it. You can just see how flat the hook lies, and the line is tucked neatly down underneath the eye. So then you can just test the knot with a knot puller, or in this case I've got my disgorger here. Pull nice and tight. That is going nowhere. I've only used 5 wraps on this. Depending on the length of your shank, you can just carry on down. You can do about 8. I'd probably usually do about 7, maybe 8, but 5 is just fine, especially if you're using quite thick line. So if you found this video useful, please remember to like and also consider subscribing for more fishing related videos. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.